The first time I created this chart, it took me about half an hour, but now AI can do it for me in less than a minute. And there's a lot going on here. Reference lines, highlight areas, new measures that need to be created, visual calculations, and a disconnected table. Now I can take care of all of that. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how to give AI the skills to create any chart you like. Let's go. Most Power BI developers that are using AI for development, they're using the Power BI data modeling MCP server, which gives a large language model access to your data model so that it can read or make changes to your tables, your measures, the relationships, and that can speed up the whole development process by a lot. However, what it cannot do is make changes to or create new visuals. Now, to make that happen, we have to take care of a few things. Now, first of all, we need to save our Power BI reports in this new PBIP format, which is basically just a folder or multiple folders with text files for the different components of your Power BI report. Now, these text files AI can read and make changes to. All right, so that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is that large language models are trained on general data. It doesn't know how your company or you personally do certain things. It doesn't have your templates. And that is a problem because if we would just ask ChatGPT or Claude to start making changes to these Power BI project files, well, it probably is not going to succeed because a lot there is not documented and it doesn't know how to create certain charts. So we have to give it the instructions to do so. And that we can do by using skills. Now, skills are the big topic in 26 and are basically there to create anything that you want. And we can also use those for Power BI. Now, creating those skills sounds a little bit intimidating at the beginning. However, it's nothing else than a text file, a markdown file, which is called SKILL.md, that contains basically the instructions for the large language model to get to a certain output. And you put that in a folder where the AI agent can find it, together with maybe scripts or other examples that it can use to get to that output. Now, let's just do it and you will see it's not as difficult as it sounds like. Now, over here, I want to create a skill that creates this chart over here, which I did manually in my previous video. So if you want to go over all of the steps manually yourself, then check it out over here. However, here we're going to create a skill for it. Now, what do we need to create that skill? Because, well, AI can do it for us. Now, for that, we need the Power BI project files from the before state and the after state so that it can see the differences. Now, so I'm having over here the PBX file, which I'm going to save as a Power BI project file. All right, so save as. And I created a folder with two subfolders, start and end, where I'm going to save these Power BI project files. So this is going to be the end result. And then I have the same Power BI report in the before state, so where I don't have that chart and the required measures. So this one I'm also going to save in that Power BI project format. Now make sure to put it then in the start subfolder and save it there. Now if we then go to one of these Power BI project folders, for example, for the end solution, then you will see how they are built up. We have that PBIP file next to two subfolders, one for the semantic model, one for the report. Now we are interested in the report one. Then you will find all different kinds of text files for the pages and the visuals. For example, if we go here to definition, pages, then here you see a subfolder for the visuals, and you will see that for each visual, you have a separate JSON file. Now, we have all of the instructions of how it is built up. All right, now if I open one of them, then you will see it actually does make sense. For example, this one is for that slicer that plays on top of that visual with all of the details. Now, there's no general documentation on this, and therefore, to create that skill, AI really needs this as an example, that before state and after state, all right? So with this in place, we are ready to take the next step. Now we need Claude Code or Codex or Visual Studio to start working on the scale, to create it basically for us. Now, I prefer to do it in Visual Studio Code, so let's download that first. Now you can just Google Visual Studio Code, download, and it will bring you over here where you can download it for free. All right, now let's open it up. And the first thing that you can do here is open a folder that you want to use for this project. Now I'm just going to pick that same folder from before. And then we need to install Claude Code or Codex, whatever you prefer. Now here we can go to extensions to do so. Type in Claude and it will pop up. There it is. And then you just have to click on install. That's it. All right. And after you install it, well, then you just have to open up a new session, which you can do now by clicking on this little Claude Code icon and then new session. Now you can also open it up in the terminal. So you can click here on view, terminal. And now we can ask Claude to make the skill for us on the basis of these two Power BI project files where we have the before and the after state, and it can look at the differences so that it can create the instructions to get to the end result. Now, before we do that though, it's maybe helpful that you have seen a SKILL.md file so that you know what we are creating. So let me show you an end result for a different chart type skill that I created before. And this Power BI skill is to create pagination for any type of visual. So if I open this SKILL.md file, every SKILL.md file starts in the same way. We have over here these three little hyphens followed by the name and the description. Now this is the name of the skill, which needs to correspond to the folder that it's stored in. And we have the description, which is really important because the name and the description, the YAML, the front matter, gets loaded into the context first of all of the skills that are there. And on the basis of the prompt and what you are asking AI to do, it's going to check, okay, which skill do I need on the basis of the name and the description before it loads all of the other stuff into the context. Okay, now, then we have the body. And in the body, you basically describe all of the steps that the large language model needs to take. And you see here we have different sections like how it works, the prerequisites. And if we scroll a little bit further, you see the implementation steps. Now, here we do not have all of the DEX measures and examples. No, that is stored separately with this SKILL.md file. So here you see I have, for example, templates, TMDL folder, and here we have templates for a data table, items table, pages table. And I have also here PBIR, where I have all of the visual elements. Now, having this in your skill means it can use these examples, these files, to create that chart on any Power BI report that you have, if you set it up correctly. All right, so this is what we are trying to create, or what Claude is going to create for us. So if we go back here to our Claude Code session, we have to prompt it to create exactly that. Now, how can we do that? Now, over here, I have a prompt that we can give to Claude to create these scale files. So it says that we have a start and end folder showing a Power BI method to highlight a time window in a line chart using a slicer stored in a Power BI project format, div them and build a Claude Code scale. And over here, some requirements. Now, let's try this out. I'm just going to copy this, go back to our Claude Code window and put it in there. Now, over here, if you paste it twice, you can see the whole prompt, press enter, and let's see what it does. Now, after 4 minutes or so, it analyzed all of the Power BI project files and what the differences are and what steps to take. So you see, it says I have a complete picture now of the differences. Here's what's changed, new dim date slicer, 2 new measures, ref, table, line, etc. Now, do you want me now to create that SKILL.md file? Yes. All right. So I'm just going to go for that second option where we allow all edits during this session. So option number 2. And you see now it's writing and creating all of these files. All right, it's done. It took about 7 minutes and it created 7 files. So here you see all of the files that it created. Now, of course, that SKILL.md file, which then refers to the templates and the examples that it can use. Okay, so let's check it out. Let's go to the folder and it called our skill time window highlight. Now, let me just open it up. You see we have that SKILL.md file. Let's open it. And it actually forgot to put in the name and the description, which is really important. So let's fix this. Let's go to Claude Code, add the name and description to the SKILL.md file. YAML. All right, so now the name and the description should be popping up in the SKILL.md file. Yep, there you go. Perfect. Now, followed by the goal, the prerequisites. Here we have all of the variables in the template, and here the step-by-step instructions where it points to the other files. So if we go back to the skill, you see here we have the examples in the templates folder. And in the templates folder, there we, for example, have the template for dim date slicer. All right, so it can use all of that. Okay, now we have to put it to the test and see, does it actually work? Now, how can we actually make use of this skill? Now, skills, they are an open standard. So you can use Claude Code, you can also use Codex, whatever you prefer. But they need to be in the right place. Either we leave them in the project folder where your Power BI report lives, or we put them in a place where Claude can always find it. So let's go for that second option. So I'm gonna go back and I'm just going to copy a skill from here. And then I go to my user folder where we have the folder for Claude. And in the Claude folder, we have skills. Okay, now I took all of my skills away because I just want to show you how to do it when you have nothing yet. I'm going to put it in there. And now Claude should be able to find it. How do we know? Well, if we go back to Visual Studio Code, and let's open up a new terminal session over here. And if you now do / and then look up the name of your skill. Now, in this case, it contains something with window. So you see time window highlight, it should be popping up. So we can use it. However, I don't want to tell Claude to specifically use that skill. I want to keep it a little bit more vague. So let's give it the following prompt. I have a PBIP project at this file path, and I just copied the start folder. And I want to enable the user to select the time window and the line chart in the first page. Okay, that's it. All right, so let's see what it does. Now it correctly figured out that it should be using our time window highlight skill. So that's a success. Do you want it to proceed? Let's go for yes or that second option. And now we can just lean back and see what it does. Oh, another question. All right, do you want to list all files and folders in the Power BI project? Is that okay? Yep. Now you can also just let Claude do everything and just run to the end. However, maybe it's a good idea to keep a little bit of control over the process, which is probably a little bit safer. Now, over here, list top level directories is also okay. All right, it's done. It created semantic model changes and report changes by editing certain files or creating new ones for the visuals that were not existing before. So it's time to see if it actually worked. Now I'm going to go to the file where I had a copy, and then let's just open that PBIP file. And that looks promising. Now the chart is a little bit big, so I'm just gonna make it a little bit smaller. All right, now here we have that slicer and we can just adjust the range. There you go. And you see we have only labels for those data points that are within the selected time window. We have the reference lines, the highlight area. We have a disconnected table there for that slicer that it created. We have new measures that were added. And if I select the visual, you see there's a visual calculation. Perfect. Quick note, if you want to have the scale from this video, there's a download link in the description below. I will be adding there some extra resources in the future as well around Power BI development with AI, which is part of something bigger that I'm currently working on, which is super exciting. So make sure to check it out. Let's go back to the video. Now, the real question is, will it still work if we have a completely different data set? Now, one great way to test this is just to take the example data set from Power BI. So I'm going to create a new blank report and let's just load the sample data into it. And now I'm going to save this report as a Power BI project. So let's go over here and put it in a new folder. So the folder that I created is called demo. And over here, I'm just going to switch to PBIP and let's call this one demo. Now I'm going to trigger that scale in the same way as we did before in a new Claude Code session. So I'm just going to copy over that prompt with the only adjustment that we are now pointing to the demo Power BI project. Okay, that's it. All right, now let's see what it comes up with. Now you see that in the prompt I'm referring to a line chart that actually doesn't exist, but it's smart enough to figure that out and create it for you. Now, over here, do you want to proceed? So we have to press 2 or 1 a few times. All right, so now something interesting is happening because, of course, it doesn't see the line chart and it has different data to work with. So we need to answer a few questions. Now, first of all, which column should be the x-axis of the line chart? So here we can, for example, say it should use the month name. All right, so 2. And which value should the line chart plot on the y-axis? Sales, profit, gross sales, units sold. Now, let's go for sales. And where should the 2 new DAX measures be stored? New measure table? Yeah, maybe let's go for that. Okay, so let's submit these answers. And now it continues. All right, it's done again. So let's open up this demo file and see if it worked. And that looks promising. Now over here, you can just click it away or Click on refresh now. We have a slicer, which is based on dim date. Slicer created for us. We can choose our time window, which is connected to that highlight area. Perfect. Now, creating these scales is an iterative process, and often you have to prompt Claude a few more times to get it perfect so that you get exactly that result that you're looking for. For example, in this case, I would ask it to create a date table if it doesn't exist so, and well, Claude probably would create another template file that it can then use. All right, so you see, this is pretty awesome, and I will put up this scale for you to download. Just follow the link in the description. Maybe I also create a few more. For example, I also have one here that creates pagination. And here it is. You see, it turned a normal bar chart into a bar chart where we have pagination. Now, that scale is created in exactly the same way, and you will see over here also has a SKILL.md file with templates. So if I open this one up, then we have the front matter, the name and the description, followed by all of the steps where it refers to all of the templates and examples. All right, now, what do you think? Is this the next revolution in Power BI development? Well, I think it is going to make a big change in how we create a report. We were already able through the Power BI data modeling MCP server to make changes to the backend. However, now, well, we can do much more. Create any visual that we want, and well, the opportunities, they are endless. So let me know your thoughts, put your ideas in the comment section below, and let's explore this further. Now, if you like these tips and tricks, then make sure to also check out these videos over here. If you want to create Power BI reports together with me, see my process from beginning to end, then check out my Power BI design transformation program over there. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.